Morning everyone, today we're talking about fat loss over 30 and where to start. Morning guys and welcome to The Brief. My name's James Breese and The Brief is a weekly vlog and email series for people over 30 who want to become better everyday athletes. Well, it's a bit of a funny one today. All my plans of going into the Brecon Beacons hiking this morning have been scuppered by the weather. Good old British wet Welsh weather. I don't know how else to describe it really. It's been absolutely torrential rain the last few days, and I popped up to the Beacons Park this morning and I took in the car park and I saw all the ground. It was like a bog, it was like a swamp. There's no way I'm wading through the swamp for love nor money today. So I thought, what's the next best thing? Let's go for coffee and let's maybe go for a drive, because one of my other biggest passions is driving. And on a Wednesday, it's recording day for me. So I love recording. I want to get outside and do something different than being stuck inside writing in the four walls of the Strength Matters HQ per se. So yes, I'm with you today talking about fat loss over 30 and where to start. So fat loss, it's the multi-million-dollar question. It's what everybody wants to know. If there was a simple answer, we'd all be doing it and I would be a multi-billionaire by now, having bought Richard Branson's Necker Island off him. The thing is, and the truth of the fact is, there's no one way, there's no one right solution. Fat loss is quite complex and it's about finding the right solution for you that works and that you can maintain. But saying that, over the years we've come to realize there are some guiding principles and some foundations that we need to lay first to get people ready for a fat loss program. This rain never stops. I'm waiting to go and grab a coffee and there's no chance I'm running out any time in the next few seconds, I tell you. Anyway, going back to fat loss. Now the thing and the truth about fat loss is this: it is hard work. It's going to take all the mental stamina and energy that you have to do it, and you're going to want to give up repeatedly. Trust me, I know this. I'm in the middle of a fat loss program myself right now. I know exactly how you feel and how you're gonna feel when you're going through the process. However, how do we approach the first steps, the baby steps to get you on the fat loss journey for complete beginners? Well, spoiler alert here, it's nothing to do with workouts or nutrition. You see, with us, it's about WWS, walk, water, sleep. WWS is a simple formula, so simple that you will probably dismiss it like most other people that we talk to. I probably dismiss it sometimes as well, because we like to dismiss simple solutions to complex problems. And fat loss really is a complex problem, despite the science saying it's relatively straightforward, calories in, calories out, right? However, there's many moving parts. The human body is a bit more complex, so despite the science being relatively straightforward in basic paper terms, in reality, it's a lot more complex because we have emotions and our own mental well-being to think about, and that affects us a lot in the decisions that we make. So one of the biggest problems I see with the fitness industry is that it's all geared towards the short term, like 7-day fat loss plans, 21-day cleanses, 30-day juice cleanses, all that bullshit that you see out there. It doesn't take into consideration your health and longevity over the long haul. And for us, it's about creating a system of fat loss that will be with you for the rest of your life that you can always go back to. It's a simple system to create the foundations ready for a fat loss program. The truth about fat loss is this: it's easy to actually lose fat. The hard part is keeping the weight off long term, and that's where most people struggle. Think about it. How many times do you see people rebound after a fat loss or weight loss challenge? It's because they have no structure and no system and no baseline or foundations to support them over the long haul. And that's where we believe WWS comes in. It sets the foundation first to allow you to progress further with a weight loss and fitness plan to get you results and to keep the results there and keep the weight off over the long haul. The great thing about WWS is this: we can argue till the cows come home about what's the best workout plan, what's the best diet. There's so many different opinions and ideas out there. The beauty of WWS is we can all agree that we need water, we need to move more, and we need to sleep for basic survival and human necessity. There's no arguing those 3 points. It's a good starting point to earn someone's trust and build from there. Okay, we have a break in the rain. Bit of blue sky up there as well. I'm going for coffee. Why good coffee shops in the UK do not open until 9 AM? Why? Why can't you open earlier? Just a little thought. Please do, for my own personal benefit. Anyway, right, the plan is, as I was waiting for coffee there, I'm going to do the Gospel Pass, which apparently is the highest road to drive here in Wales. So it's drying up a little bit. It's still soggy and wet. I'm hoping I can get the drone out as well and take some good shots, but I've never driven this route before. I thought I might take you guys along with me to see what's happening. So, not hiking today, going for a drive, which is an alternative option for me today to give me some headspace and think about what I'm going to do for the rest of the week. So, back to fat loss. The basics in WWS Strength Matters is what we keep coming back to for advanced and beginners alike. You see, it's the fundamentals that we need to address first and foremost. If we haven't got these fundamentals in place, then he's setting up the whole process of fat loss to be that much harder than it needs to be. You see, a few years ago, we did a survey and we questioned and looked deeper into our beginner fat loss clients. And what we discovered was that the average overweight client was walking only 3,000 steps a day, they were drinking only 2 glasses of water a day, and they were sleeping less than 7 hours a night, which was already setting them up for failure in their whole fat loss process. And this is why we've realized that before you go to workouts and nutrition, you need to go to the basics, the fundamental human habits of life, to make sure that we are setting ourselves up for, good, solid plans and routines moving forward. I completely forgot what I was going to say there. Sorry, cars are coming then. So yeah, it's about setting us up to get us into a good position for fat loss and losing weight. It's those fundamental human basics of walking, water and sleep that are going to set us up for the long haul. Love of God, some things are just not meant to be. Why didn't they tell us before I came here? Oh well, plan B. So that's the end of my epic drive idea today. Plan B is go home. Oh, I hate it when the weather's like this or things don't happen to plan, but hey, chatting to you guys, so it makes it all better, hey. So let's talk about walking and fat loss. The simple reality when it comes to walking is it helps you burn more calories. It's as simple as that. And the magic equation of fat loss, as we all know, is calories in, calories out. We need to burn more calories than we actually consume. And that's the beauty of walking. You're burning calories throughout the day by walking more. The problem is that most people don't actually walk enough. Particularly during the pandemic recently, it's highlighted the fact with a number of studies out showing that people have put on weight, even athletes, because their daily habits have changed because they're not moving as much. Moving more is so important to the energy equation. It makes up your NEAT, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which incorporates, including exercise, about 30% of your daily way of burning calories. It's a simple way to put it. So walking more is important. You need to do it more, but it also sets you up in the long term for a good habit to keep the weight off over the long haul. Remember, it's easy to lose fat loss, it's harder to keep it off. And the secret to keeping it off in the long term is maintaining good daily habits such as walking. Good example is I'm out today, it's my day off, rest day, but I'm out going hiking in the mountains, just want to walk and move to recover and feel good and refresh myself almost for the week ahead, because I know I've got 2 busy and heavy days ahead of me, with including some heavy workouts. So it's a great way to recover. It helps you burn more calories throughout the day and sets you up for the long haul. Remember, it's about the long haul and keeping the weight off that's the most important, and people forget about that. You need to move more. So remember, there's 24 hours in a day. The workout is maybe going to be an hour at most, if you're lucky, and it's 160 hours plus in the week that you need to think about. The workouts will only make 3 or 4 of them. It's the walking which will then boost your efforts and help set you up for for success with fat loss long term, but more importantly, it's going to put you in a good, better mood. It's great for reducing anxiety, stress, feeling better about yourself, and that's key. Because remember, fat loss is hard, it's really hard, and you got to feel good about yourself to be in a good space to be able to tackle fat loss head on. As boring as it sounds, I think I'm going to head home and go to the gym and do some mobility and yoga instead, because that's really important too. It's part of your exercise and fitness and weight loss plans. So yeah, no epic adventures now anymore, sadly. So let's talk about water and fat loss. Water, again, another forgotten component about everything we do. And please remember, coffee doesn't count as part of your water intake. In fact, actually, it makes you more dehydrated. So you need water to survive. You can go without food for up to 21 days potentially, but only a few days without water. Such is its importance to the human body, and you need enough of it to allow you to perform at your best throughout the day. So water is actually more essential than the food we consume, and it's important for the fat loss equation. The beauty is, in the system that we've laid out, walk, water, sleep, water being the second in line for everything that you do, the more you walk, the more you tend to want to drink more water. It's just a natural habit and progression that we see people do time and time again. They reach for more water after their walks. So here's an alarming stat. 75% of the Western world are considered to be dehydrated at any one time. That's important to remember, because just 1% dehydration levels will decrease your athletic performance and also decrease your cognitive ability. You simply perform better when you're not dehydrated and when you're hydrated well. So you need to start drinking more water. How much? Well, we say 7 glasses because it's a good example and a good starting point for most people. But just don't neglect the aspect of water when it comes to fat loss, because it makes it part of the chemical equation to help you in the fat loss process. That's why I see so many people chugging water and say they've drank 2 liters of water a day during their fat loss attempts or events, particularly celebrities, because it's that important. It makes up part of the chemical equation to help you burn fat and help you use fat more readily and also store less of it. All right, home, Jeeves. Okay, so let's talk about sleep and fat loss. Now, before we go any further, I appreciate there are mums and dads out there, people who work night shifts as well, who are struggling to get sleep. So I understand that there are strategies to help you with that, but this is now talking about a generalistic view, and in an ideal world, when you haven't got those stresses, you haven't got those night shifts, and you haven't got those kids that keep waking you up during the night. Sleep, like food and water, is essential for survival. Without it, you will quite literally die. Even Guinness World Records have now banned sleep deprivation records because of its impact on your own personal health and well-being. Now, apparently, the average human adult gets 7 hours sleep a night, but 33% of all adults get less than 6.5 hours of sleep a night. Now, why is this important? Well, studies have now shown that over a period of 6 years, adults who have less than 6.5 hours sleep a night are twice as likely to gain twice as much weight than people who are sleeping between 7 to 8 hours. Sleep impacts everything that you do in your day-to-day life, not just fat loss, cognitive ability, athletic performance, mood, anxiety, all these things. It affects how you're feeling and what you're going to do. It's not just about fat loss, but in terms of fat loss, well, let me dive a little bit deeper. Shortened sleep impacts your hunger and full hormones in the body, ghrelin and leptin. So when you are sleep deprived, it reduces your full hormone leptin and increases your hunger hormone, ghrelin. It's a nightmare waiting to happen. It combines both. So not only are you feeling less full, you're feeling more hungry all the time. Now, in controlled studies, the highly controlled studies, what this showed was, it showed an increase of about 300 calories a day on individuals who are sleep deprived. Now, that's in a controlled environment. Imagine out in the real world, potentially. Now, 300 calories may not sound much, But over the course of a week, and then over the course of the year, that's 100,000 extra calories that you're consuming because you're sleep deprived. Now, the other thing that happens when you're sleep deprived is you want to move less. You want to conserve energy. The body wants to conserve energy for survival. So not only do you consume more calories when you're sleep deprived, it makes you want to move less, which is a complete disaster and a perfect storm or perfect recipe for obesity to happen. Greater calorie intake and less calorie output because you're moving less. That's why when I talk about walking right at the start of today's video, it's so important. It forms part of the NEAT equation for burning calories. But again, it doesn't stop there. Think about the types of foods that you crave when you're sleep deprived. When I look back now at my time in the police, particularly when I was on night shift at 3, 4 a.m, I would always reach the full fat cans of Coke and also the chocolate bars to keep me going. I crave those things. I crave the energy to keep me going. It's the same these days now. When I am tired or haven't slept well, I want pizza. I want to go for that pizza. I make poorer food choices because you have less willpower. Studies are showing that you have less willpower. You crave carb-rich, salty, chocolatey, sweet type foods and ultra-processed type foods more. So you consume more of these items, less protein, less healthy goods when you're sleep deprived. So it's a perfect storm for obesity altogether. Now, one final note to say about sleep deprivation and weight loss. Studies have again shown that most of the time when you're trying to lose fat, it makes it that much harder to do so. It shows that more muscle mass, more lean muscle mass is lost as opposed to fat when you're sleep deprived. Now, we don't want to make the whole process of losing weight even harder than it really is, but that's what really happens. So sleep is so important. It affects your appetite, it affects the way you move, it affects the way you feel and do everything in day-to-day life. It's that important. It's also the last thing in the 3 things WWS that we like to fix because we know it's sometimes the hardest to do because again, life, work, family gets in the way. But we need to understand this and we need to respect the fact that it's going to hinder our progress if we don't address it sooner rather than later. So how do we use WWS? Well, it was designed to help our clients remember the basics and fundamentals that they need to do each and every day to help them towards their fat loss goals. That's it. To remember the basics, because if you haven't got the basics right, you ain't going to achieve anything else. You need to nail these 3 things down before we go to the workouts and the nutrition components of fitness and weight loss. Remember, it only makes a small part of what you need to do. It's an important part, but we need to get these basics right first to set you up for the long haul. So WWS, walk, water, sleep. And then we use something called the 777 rule to help you remember what you need to do and how much of each you need to do each day. So walk 7,000 steps at least a day. Drink 7 glasses of water, large, small, I don't mind. Just drink 7 glasses of water a day and try and aim for 7 hours of sleep a night. Those are the basics and fundamentals that we need to try and address first and foremost. Now, WWS is the foundation of our training system. Like any foundation, if there are cracks, then performance is likely to suffer and something will give later down the line. So we always go back to WWS in any weight loss or fat loss plan. Now, those numbers I gave you, the 777 rule, can you do more? Can you do less? Well, less ideally not. More, absolutely, but it depends. Sometimes you'll need to increase to more later down the line because you'll find a plateau in your training, but as a baseline, these are the numbers that most studies and researchers can tend to agree around as the baseline of where the human body needs to do the bare minimum to survive and improve health and longevity long term. Now, WWS isn't perfect. It's by no means the only way it's going to help you lose weight and fat loss. We've just found that over the years, it's a great baseline, a great starting point for people to focus on changing and making small positive habit change. Because it's all about habit change in the long run. That's how you're going to sort your life out, per se, when it comes to weight loss. If you don't make small positive habits and stick to them over the long haul, you're never going to keep the weight off. And that's the hardest part. So WWS, by starting with walking more, it's naturally, hopefully going to increase your water intake. And by walking more and exercising more and drinking more water, it might, we've seen in the past, improve your sleep as well. And if you get those three things right, as we've discussed, it's going to improve your chances of losing that much more fat and keeping it off over the long haul. Like I said, not perfect, but it's a good way to start off and making those small positive changes that can have an impact later down the line. Now, in terms of nutrition, we've also found that when people make these positive changes, walk, water, sleep, they're feeling better about themselves, they have more energy, and they start to naturally make better food choices before we even have to discuss anything with them. And that's really important because nutrition is hard. You know, it's easy to change someone's religion that is their diet sometimes. So just bear that in mind. We've got to be careful when it comes to nutrition, and that's why we focus on that last and not first. Workouts fit in somewhere in between, but nutrition comes last after we've got the basics of WWS right and people feeling better and good about themselves first. Anyway, food for thought. That's how we approach fat loss for people over 30. What do you think? Leave a comment down below. Have you thought about this before? Have you tried it before? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you have any other questions or want to see other videos that we can talk about moving forward, just let us know down in the comments below. And I'll see you next time. And just remember, subscribe and comment and put that bell notification on to make sure you're first to know of all the new content that we put out. Till next time.